Good morning to you all. Big buongiorno. We're here, ready to go, and another beautiful day here in the wonderful Venezia. Venezia, otherwise we know it as, in Anglo-Saxon, as Venice. Some countries know it as they call it, what do they call it? Bendig is another one for Venice, or Benako is another word in the Slavic language for Venice, Benako. So where did they get Benako? It's just like, you know, that Munich, for the Italians it's called Monaco, for the Germans it's München. So there's all these different names: Firenze, Florence, Naples, Napoli. So we head on over to the island of Murano. And with that we can see that as we journey down this way, we're actually going to see this here on the straight ahead, slightly to the left, right? So Lorenzo Quinn is the artist. You can see the hands meeting the world. For those guys down the back, you'll see that it's going to be outside on the left hand side. You can see also there's a church here on the left. This was built in 568. So this church here has been rebuilt, but the church, a place of religion there, has been very important, because also it was the place where the mother of Constantine was buried. So Helena was her name, so it's known as the St. Helena is the name of the church, so the mother of Constantine. Also, can you see this big tower here, and in the background you're going to see a large, well, not large actually, just a small submarine in the background, on dry dock. You can see the submarine there. But then there is the entrance, the most important entrance into the Arsenal, Arsenal. That is, now you've heard of the word Arsenal. What does that conjure up the image of? Arsenal. Football team, yes. What about ammunition dump? Arsenal armory. Do you know that word comes from Arabic? The name, or the word Arsenal, it comes from Arabic. Because when the Venetians took over Constantinople back in 1204, the term arsenal in Arabic is andasina, and that means boundary. So often the Venetians adopted words from their territories, and these words were corrupted by the Venetian dialect. So andasina became arsenale. So the arsenal in the UK, British adopted it for their ammunition dump, and therefore when they had the same area in London, the Arsenal football team used the name Arsenal from the ammunition dump. That's why its symbol is a cannon. So that's where the word actually comes from. It's their Arabic Asna Antasina. Interesting. There's also, what about other things? There's the other words. Lagoon. The lagoon here, Laguna, is a corruption of the word lactus, which is in Latin for lake. So Lisbon referred to as a lake, but the Venetians then adopted Laguna, and that's why we always refer to a lagoon, coming from the Venetian corruption of a Latin name from the early settlers that came to this area. What about, there's lots of words actually. Even ballet comes from bolos, balls, which was the inside when they were making the boat for the Duke. They put the piece of paper, inside a ball, and that's how they would adopt. They would just capture a young 10-year-old randomly in the streets, take him into the ducal palace, and then his job was to draw the balls from a cage, so that they could then make the voting system, so that whoever acquired the most votes was elected. So it couldn't be corrupted by using a 10-year-old, but that's how it came from. Balls isn't ballot. Yeah. So there was a ballot. And other things, what about, oh my goodness, there's something too, is, Venetian blinds, they're actually Arabic, but when they were traded here, they were taken to other parts of Europe. The Europeans called them Venetian, but they're actually Arabic. So anyway, we get into the story here of, You can see a cemetery with the trees over there to the left-hand side. There's the island of San Michele. And there's where the Gondola tend to be buried. But when you're buried there, you're only there for a short amount of time, maybe only 10 years, because after 10 years your remains are exhumed and put into a small mausoleum to make space for somebody else. But it was actually Napoleon who said this should be the place for people to be buried. Very famous, so many people want to be buried, like Ezra Pound is buried there, Igor Stravinsky, Anthony Quinn actually, he was to inquire about it, not buried there. But they say it's so famous people are just dying to get in. Now, if we can see in front of us the island, which is this island of Murano Island, is not so much the sightseeing island. It doesn't have the colourful houses and buildings and so forth as the island of Murano. So there's a very big difference. This was more of an industrial island as it was made so back in the 13th century. It was after a spate of fires. So a spate of fires, they said these kilns and the glass making was right through the city, but it was too dangerous, there were fires. But maybe it was more so the government was trying to control the trade secrets, because they also agreed that the glass masters would be controlled by certain rules. They could marry, their daughters could marry into nobility. They also had their names inscribed in gold, so in a book of gold, which meant that they never paid any income tax. That's why the tax rules here are different. You can't claim tax-free on Venetian glass if it's the official supported by the Chamber of Commerce. They don't have the tax because you're buying directly from the manufacturer. And also, a glass master was able to legally wear a sword in public. So that's some of those things. But if a glass master tried to escape, was encouraged by, for example, it happened, the French kingdom would love to have their own, glassworks to be able to create their intricate, decorations for their mirrors and for their chandeliers and for their goblets and so forth. So they would actually give very big, offers to lure the Venetian glass masters away to go to different parts of Europe. That's why you'll find in the Czech Republic there's glass there, which is similar, but it doesn't have the same sort of longevity. And over time, the exterior the colorization of metal colors will taint, whereas here it doesn't taint. So it's quite a difference. But you could say that there were many penalties, about, so to discourage the glass masters from leaving. If they were to escape, they would be tracked down, they'd be stabbed with like an assassin with a glass dagger. But also, if they were caught, they might have been punished by being blinded with a glass needle. So these were the first examples of the first Venetian blinds. Yeah, the first Venetian blinds. Turn around, let's go back home. And also, like with the Venetian glass, it only ever appreciates. There's always fewer and fewer. There's not so many people that are willing, especially in the days of old. You used to be about 10 years old when you started your apprenticeship as a glass. That's what you would do for your life, because you were taught by your father and so forth. It was a family tradition. You didn't have any choice. These days, young guys, they're more interested in souping up their little boats and racing around and picking up their girlfriends and so forth, and being involved in IT, petroleum companies, engineers, other means of employment which they're attracted to. So they're not so keen to go and wake up at sort of 3 a.m. in the morning during summer, because you can only operate really during the night, because then winter it becomes more of regular activity because of the temperatures inside the factory. So this is where Venetian glass only ever really increases in value. And I've looked at it, I've seen some people before years ago buying Venetian glass. Now I look back and I say, well, it actually at the time it seemed to be quite expensive, but over time you start to see that actually it only ever goes up, and it's a nice sort of a memento. But also, hey, I've got to I always think about this, because the Venetian glass I bought as a wedding gift for two very good friends, and they renovated their house so that their house was all a white interior with the LED lights, and they had a bas relief on the wall, so it was all white bas relief, and they had these little LED lights, and they put the goblets up on the wall, and when they switched the lights on, the glowing red from the corner of the room was actually quite radiant. So I thought that was quite a nice touch, because the place that was very new and modern had something that would complement the house, not to distract from the beauty of their architecture. So it was a nice little memento for their wedding. But of course, a few years later, they got divorced. But because I bought them 2 goblets, they were very happy. They were able to have one each. She got the house though, so and the pension. Yeah. Yes, but you know, they were still friends afterwards. But they one goblet each. And you can get it. They do engrave in case you want to personalise. I don't tend to personalise. I've got Venetian glass. I just like to have it just the way it is, rather than having some name on it. But it might be somebody important, so you might want to put a name on it. And also, you do find glassworks in the city. So what you see here is often what you can sometimes see in the city, but not always is authentic. All right. So I believe this is the place which is the safest place that you know what you get. But I can't vouch for the variations in prices that you can find around town in case somebody's got a sale item. But at the same time, this is supported by the Chamber of Commerce, so therefore you've definitely got the guarantee of peace of mind that it comes manufactured by a glass master and not something that is imitation. So, I mean, there's a little bit of reassurance, if anything, for you in case you decide to buy anything today. But you are supporting the local glassworks, and this is why we call it Make Travel Matter, which is part of our thing of being able to show you something of artistic talent and creativity in the trades that would otherwise sort of fail to exist if we didn't have some sort of support from foreign visitors. So it's a positive thing for the whole industry. And you know, you can always ship it, and if you, I mentioned yesterday, if you do ship, you know, they will replace if it comes in broken, and you may have to pay some importation tax depending on how much you claim. But if you carry it, you just carry it in your hand luggage. It might be a gift, you know, so it might be second hand. So it's really up to you. But $900 for the US. I'm not sure what it is for Australia, but there is some costs. But I think some people have reported to me $40 or $50, so it hasn't really been as much as I was kind of like guessing it could be. So anyway, just in case, let's make a move, guys. We are to bring all